It's the final week of LCS Spring as 5 teams fight over the 2 remaining spots in the postseason. Game 1 has 2 playoff hopefuls, Golden Guardians and Optic Gaming, squaring off. We'll see which one of them can pick up a win as they make that race towards the postseason. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LCS Countdown, where for 30 minutes we prepare for the greatest KDA cover of all time and welcome the return of the LCS's greatest hero until the timer reaches 0 and we jump into Champion Select. Kobe, are you ready for that?
I am super ready. I'm actually sad I didn't get to take part in it because I wasn't in on that.
You may not be so sad after you see the result, but I like the positive outlook on it all. As of right now, we do have those 4 playoff spots locked. Number 1 bye goes to Team Liquid no matter what, with TSM and C9 contesting for the 2nd playoff bye. FlyQuest have an outside chance of snagging 3rd, leaving the final 2 spots to Golden Guardians, CLG, Echo Fox, Optic, or Clutch Gaming. That's 5 teams still in the hunt. Now, Week 9 starts with that Game 1 between Golden Guardians and Optic Gaming. Then Clutch Gaming try to stave off elimination in Game 3 versus an on-fire TSM. With Game 4 pitting Cloud9 opposite FlyQuest, who are hot off their upset win over Team Liquid. Now, ahead of the final week of the regular split, some teams made dramatic moves. So let's start with a team that returns with a familiar bot laner and a role swap. Piglet heading to the mid lane, Cody's son taking over that position in the AD carry role. My goodness, what's going on here?
I'm a big fan of this. I mean, Piglet looked like he never liked to play AD carry this entire season, so now he gets to play his role that he seems to be, what did he say, like top 3 laner somehow? So, give him something. Maybe this works. Complete curveball.
He did say that. I am not as hyped for it. I wasn't, that big of a fan last time he went to mid lane. It does feel to me kind of like the olden days of League of Legends where there were no, roles that you got to select, and it was just the highest ELO person in the game got to say, I'm going mid lane or whatever, and Piglet's like, I'm a world champion. I'm going mid lane now.
They changed it for a reason, though, so you couldn't do that anymore.
Right.
Looking at the strength of schedule, it kind of just feels like, we were probably going to have a tough time anyways. Go for it. Change up a curveball.
All right, fair enough. But it does seem odd. I know that there's going to be some questions around DeMonte being subbed out. While his stats may not be phenomenal, he did still feel like one of the better performing members on the team, at least when you compare that to the expectation of the guy coming into the split.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a matter of how good is DeMonte versus Piglet. It's more of like, where is Piglet comfortable in, and can we remedy Piglet's situation and then the bottom lane entirely, and as a consequence, we're going to have to replace DeMonte for now. So I think it's more of making sure that the team is working well together, and maybe Piglet's a bit of a guy that needs a lot of emphasis on what he wants to do, and so he gets his way, gets mid.
Kobe?
For me, they're giving up one of the things that got them the majority of their wins, and that is flexible picks for all of their different lanes. Yes, Piglet did, like solo lane champions, but that in the bottom lane gave them a lot of their wins.
Right.
Cody's son, I'm pretty sure Cody's son is playing a marksman.
Yeah, definitely the case. And then you can kind of see this team really needs to pull something out of the bag, so go for it.
All right, let's talk about 100 Thieves making massive roster changes. Fate God is in, some days out. Fragus is in, Anda's out. Stunt is in, Afromoo is out. And of course, they're also bringing in Kelsey as a strategic coach. So yes, Soligo remains in the mid lane. We've seen him out on stage a couple times. And then Bang, the only guy who's been on the roster from the beginning of the split.
And I like this for multiple reasons. First off, the Academy guys just played a very tough best of 5, on Thursday, and they put up a great fight, didn't end up taking the W, but now you're giving them an extra time on stage to develop. You're already knocked out of playoffs. The split does not matter anymore. So I like that change up, and people who are going to poo-poo it, like, they still play games that matter for other teams. Like, no one cares. It's about your team and what's best for your team. And second, Bang still being in, but someday being out makes you wonder who is actually untouchable on this roster.
I think it actually might be a little tryout to see who does Bang best work with out of this entire roster, and potentially what kind of subs can you do next split.
Yeah, I actually feel better about this one because I was not excited to see the other 100 Thieves roster play more games. And these guys, honestly though, when you all of these Academy players are going to be hyped to be on stage.
Right.
You get a big mentality change, when you bring in fresh blood like this, and specifically, I think Fragus in their Max versus Echo Fox played really well in the jungle. So
as you said, Crumbs, this is the tryout for a lot of these guys, as well as a look towards the summer to see, hey, what will be the best 5-man roster that we can put forward when we actually have a chance at making the playoffs next time around. Before we head to break, though, we are going to send it over to Riv for another stroll down Spring Split Memory Lane.
Thank you very much, Dash. The final week of LCS is upon us, and there have been great escapes, dive, wombo combos, and steals all throughout the season. Today, we're stepping into the pit for some fantastic Baron steals, starting with TSM versus FlyQuest from week 2, where Pobelter left the enemy seeing stars with this steal.
Baron's down to about 1/4 HP. Sleepy Double Bubble comes in. Baron is still going to be taken very low, but it's swallowed by Pobelter! That's a huge play! He goes unstoppable. He takes down the enemy support. Broken Blade is broken in half, and Turtle is unstoppable.
FlyQuest is looking hot the last few weeks and is definitely a team to keep your eye on heading into playoffs. The second Baron steal is courtesy of Cloud9's Niski from their Week 7 match against Team Liquid.
And TL just keep regenning as C9 are waiting around and running out of wards. They still have the flash, they still have the smite, but the vision is out on this one. They've got to try to guess when it happens. The turret likely to drop in, TL just waiting. They're regenning with the Drake. Another ward goes down, still can't see what's going on. When can they pull the trigger? Sneaky trying to make something happen, trying to get Baron to aggro and reveal himself. Over the wall! Are you kidding me? The Baron picked up by Cloud9, and it's time to run away. They only lose the jungler.
Coming into this split, Niski had big shoes to fill in that mid lane for Cloud9, and he has definitely stepped up to the task. Our final Baron steal takes us back to week 5 of the split when FlyQuest faced off against Cloud9. Wild Turtle sliced and diced his way into position for a smooth steal.
JJ's around the side, looking to maybe go in. You have to set Turtle up for this one. He can't just be taken out at the start here yet again. JJ goes in, Turtle right behind him, looking to find the damage. They pop him into the resurrection already. Liquid grabbing the kill onto Santorin as the blood Turtle is secured by Wild Turtle!
Baron steals my second favorite calls behind a beautiful pentakill. Wild Turtle is making plays, good or bad, and we are sure to see many, many more. Turtle holds the record for all-time games played for a total of 431, and will rack up another one today with their game against C9. You'll be seeing more of me as we continue to relive some of the best moments from the split, but for now we're going to step away for a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Be sure to meet us back here in a few minutes because there are a couple of characters on the analyst desk ready to do some analyzing.
Welcome back to the LCS Countdown, where we are 10 games away from answering some of the most pressing LCS questions. Questions we've been mulling over for weeks now. Who's going to get second place in that last playoff bye?
5 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots. Who's gonna get it?
When does the British Bake Off return? Are they gonna replace those new hosts? Give me Mel or Sue, or I'm a hard pass.
Why is Froggen the only mid laner that gets to play Karthus?
St. Louis is called the gateway to the west, but why isn't it also called the gateway to the east? Does it matter which way you're traveling? A better city slogan would be, gateways here, get your gateways.
I wonder if anyone can tell I'm playing auto chess.
Do people really believe that Jat moved to game design? Did I get away with the perfect crime? Play it cool, Kobe. Just play it cool.
Did Kobe just admit to murder?
Are you in my head? Say the word pepperoni.
Pepperoni?
What were you thinking about?
Don't worry about it. That was a terrible idea. Sorry, everyone. We're going to move on to the playoff race. Let's review what's up for grabs, starting with that final playoff bye. Cloud9, they own that head-to-head and a 1-game lead over TSM, but it is still technically possible for TSM to snag it if C9 end up dropping a couple games.
Yeah, I think everybody's in agreement as far as the top 3 strongest teams. Everyone excited, Team Liquid, C9, and TSM. However, since Team Liquid owns a head-to-head over C9, and then C9 owns a head-to-head over TSM, it's not a lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah, top feels relatively decided. There is a chance for TSM to overtake, but it's a long shot.
I think we have to acknowledge, though, while maybe it will be difficult for them to snag the bye, TSM's momentum going into the postseason is tremendous, having taken down TL once already and another opportunity to do so tomorrow.
Well, I think they're the scariest team when it comes to who you want to not play against right now because they've won, I think, only dropped 1 game.
One game on the back half.
Second half. And to top things off, I think that TSM is the one team that's really been focusing on the early game so much that when they perfect that, go to a best of 5, who else has been doing that, right? So they have a different style that's been paying off.
I mean, regardless of C9 or TSM, whoever has to draw them in the quarterfinals is going to feel pretty bummed about it because it feels like there's such a gap between them and the next 3.
All right, well, then let's talk about the 5 teams that are in the hunt. We've been talking about them for weeks now, so instead of kind of talking about their merits necessarily, I want to know who you guys want to see in the playoffs between Golden Guardians, CLG, Optic, Fox, and Clutch.
Well, I want to see Golden Guardians because I want to see Froggen make it back up to the playoff stage. This team has so much playoff experience that when it comes to a best of 5, you know they're not going to crumble. They're always going to deliver. They're going to come up with various different strategies. Like Kobe was wondering, why is Froggen the only guy that gets to play his card this middle? So they have different tricks in their bag, and that's pretty powerful when it comes to playoffs.
So you were inside Kobe's head, too.
I mean, it's super hyped just because Froggen hasn't been in the playoffs for 4 years, I'm pretty sure. So to see him return is going to be sick.
Yeah, it
Very
definitely
much
is.
so. High's not on the desk. I know he's a big fan of Equifox, though. Kobe, you want to take this one?
I got this one. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what Hai would say, but I feel it too. I want to see MVP Rush. This whole season, I've been waiting for MVP Rush to return to NA. He hasn't returned yet. You know, he came in, pretty poor performances. They even had to sub him out, bring him back in. So I want to see Echo Fox make it in. Rush is back in the lineup, and I want to see him pull off some good plays. He says he still has it, so let's see it.
And they arrived in style last year's spring finals weekend in Miami, so I wouldn't mind seeing them pull up once again. Mark, what's the team you're keeping your eye on?
I'm a bit of a downer, I guess, where I'm like, I feel like Team Liquid's going to win the split. So it's just about who can give me the most fun as we get there. So I'm going with Clutch. I think what they do with all their crazy drafts, swapping players up and around, they're going to be a really fun team to watch in quarterfinals, and if they continue to do well, you know, in semifinals. They play their own style, very explosive, even against themselves. Sometimes they blow up, and it's unbelievable, but it's always so fun to talk about.
It is kind of interesting. There's a possible Cody Sun redemption arc here.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He's been a guy that's been flamed relentlessly.
The Piglet arc, if he goes mid and starts crushing it, how is that not even more exciting?
Yeah, we'll see.
Piglet makes a real role swap, actually.
Yeah.
It's in his contract where it's like, I need a mid-game. All right, fine. Now you can have it.
He wants to do it. I think he actually wants to roll swap. I don't think he wants to play AD anymore.
Clutch was the surprise team of last year's spring split as well when it came to playoffs, if I recall correctly. So maybe they can do it once again. Just a couple thoughts from these 3 guys on which teams they would be most excited to move into the spring split. I personally would also, in a similar vein to watching maybe Piglet or Froggen step up to the plate, Crown from me and Optic. Obviously, I would love to see Crown in top form, just smashing his way through the playoffs. That's just to put another one on your radar. We're heading to another break as we go. Week 9 promises a tight playoff race with an insane amount of possibilities. And there's only one hero that can heed the call. Not the hero we deserve, but the one we certainly need.
In a world filled with uncertainty, one sheet has all the possibilities mapped out. And when all seems lost, one piece of parchment has all the answers.
Who could have seen this coming?
Fold over line 626.
No one could have seen this coming.
Be careful, Dash.
I know what I'm doing, damn it.
Foldy Sheet could have seen this coming.
This spring, from the creators of the original Foldy Sheet, Foldy Sheet returns.
Welcome back to the LCS Countdown, Buckaroos. It's your old trail partner, Riv, back to give you some sound financial investment advice as we ride the LCS stock market into the sunset. We start with the big winner from the last 2 weeks. That's FlyQuest. But if I was you'd, I'd give some serious thought to getting out while the getting's good, because that horse may have taken you about as far as it's going to go. Might be time to find yourself some greener pastures, y'all. My pappy always told me, son, there ain't no sure thing in this world. The best I can do here in week 9 is give you a couple warnings. 100 Thieves looks like they might be a bit appealing with that low price. And by most accounts, they do have the easiest schedule, but buyer beware. Don't go changing out that pasta before shootout at the LCS Corral, you hear? The exception may just be Clutch Gaming if you're looking for the long odds payout. The team's got a lot stacked against them, and when you look at that schedule, there may be gold in them there hills if this newfangled roster is pay dirt. Lord knows the ledger sheets loves an upset, and the midlet might just be the one to deliver it. As always, you gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when to fold them. Keep your Spurs shining, check your boots in the morning, and I'll see you a little further down the trail.
Well, you guys, that was incredible. That was incredible on so many levels. You guys have no excuses now in this final week of the LCS stock market if you don't go positive after that fantastic advice from Riv. Kobe, what did you got? Something you want to throw in?
No, I just always love Riv's animal noises.
So good.
Horse.
I can't do them.
It's so good. All right, well, all eyes are set on the playoff race. There's one more competition yet to be resolved as we turn back to the LCS stock market for the final buy period. Here's the overview of the field. Mark has pulled ahead with a huge week, going up 500.
My 6 FlyQuest stock. I did not intend for them to actually beat Team Liquid, but I'm very happy they did.
against them.
Yeah,
I also invested heavily into FlyQuest, but I baited myself by putting 6 into CLG because it was a rounder number to spend all of my money. So I got extra.
you just
CLG
wanted to be
stock.
clean in your math. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I invested a lot in CLG as well, and unfortunately, that's been the one that hurt the most. No, it's not showing there because I'm trying to hide it. I don't want to show how many stocks I got.
Yeah, I mean, Crumbs, you were the newest addition to the LCS stock market, and for you to come in and immediately go up, that's already a win in and of itself. Let's take a look at the 10-team graph to take a look at how the teams have been doing all split long. No surprises there. TL's had a couple dips due to their 2 losses, but still far ahead of the rest of the pack. C9, TSM, ultra close in price there. Shows you kind of how close that race is. Then, of course, we've got that clump of teams all trying to make a separation for themselves when it comes to their stock market price.
Yeah, I feel like if you're super risky, maybe if you're at the bottom right now, then you try and go with a Clutch or 100 Thieves.
Is that price to high?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know who's at the bottom right now? High. And we'll take a look at his portfolio in just a bit. But Kobe, first, I want to take a look at yours. Let's see what you went with this week, your final week. Remember, there's only 2 games you're taking into account as opposed to 4 in our previous bye-week period. So, Kobe, what was your call?
Well, the goal is just pick the teams that you think are going to go 2-0.
Yes.
And so I picked 3 possible teams,
and
I split myself among those teams. So I'm not going to be last, I feel like, hedging the bets.
So what were you avoiding last? All right, but what were your 3 teams? The
It
graphical,
was
maybe.
CLG, C9, and one more.
CLG, C9, and one
Team
more.
Liquid?
No.
What? What? Because you think they might lose to TSM.
It was like Echo Fox or something like
The kid
that.
doesn't even know what he bought.
Doesn't even know what he bought.
I said
That is not a
that was
savvy
the graphic.
investor, Kobe. If you can't even remember where you put your money.
Also, I bet on CLG last week, and that's the reason why Mark went ahead of
This
me.
sounds like your average crypto investment.
There it is. There we go.
That was
Optic.
fun.
It was none of the ones you named. No. All right, so 4 into CLG, 4 into Cloud9, 2 into Optic. Interesting picks. All 3 of them have potential, though.
So, I looked at their next 2 games, and all of them, I think, are very winnable for their next 2 games.
Big game for Optic here. First game of the day against Golden Guardians, one of the other playoff teams. So a lot of potential gains if they are to take a win off of them. Of course, CLG, you saw their kind of tumultuous run throughout the entire split, but hoping they can pull off a couple wins here late. Crumbs, what about you? What are you going to do to end first place?
So TSM did so much for me last time that I just went, give me all TSM again.
Well, hey, if they take
TSM
down
stock.
TL on the
That's
last game of the split, then that's huge money.
Risk it for the biscuit. I know they're going to come out ahead on Clutch, and this time around, I'm ready to put my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
TSM should take down Team Liquid and make me a rich man.
All or nothing, that's it for Crumbs right there. But you can see that momentum that we talked about earlier in the show right there on that graph. Just a total upward climb. One potential easy win, one tough one that would pay big dividends. Mark, we're heading over to you then. What do you got?
Crumbs is my arch enemy tomorrow, I guess, because I bought a fair amount of Team Liquid. I got 3 of them. They're kind of sticking with my philosophy. They're my control. They should go up. I expect them to beat TSM, but then CLG is my big risk. They actually have a pretty easy strength of schedule, I think. They're going up against 100 Thieves, who just did their roster swap, which, if you're playing the meta game of the market, new players have a rating of 100.
That's true.
Which actually boosts 100 Thieves value, but I'm expecting them to be a weaker team, so they'll get a bigger game for beating a weaker opponent.
Yeah, I mean, that's the default thing that they...
Yeah, every new player.
This a lot.
It is. Yeah, no, it is something to consider any new player because the team's stock price or ELO is established by each of the individual players.
Right.
And so, of course, yes, you bring in a new player with a fresh ELO can absolutely change the price. We lastly have to talk about High. He's not here, but he did submit his picks. He's also going all in.
I know.
Somebody had to do it.
Did he know about the roster swap?
He did. He knew about it. He had time to change. You guys can change up until...
He changed this after he saw the roster
Exactly.
swap, too.
So he was like, I have even more confidence now. No, but he's the one who's going in with the big bet, as he does have quite a bit of distance to make up if anyone's going to catch Mark. You got a nice, healthy little lead there.
It's really cheap, though, the Clutch Gaming stock. 13?
Oh, super. Yeah.
They're cheap.
I know. Because you went all in and you got 8 out of
8,
TSM.
yeah.
So, yeah, he got 5 more
Like
stock
50%
for about the
almost.
same amount of price. All right, well, in the home stretch, let's take a look at your predictions for the day. Again, a couple big playoff-impacting matches here. And right off the top of the day, we have a difference. Optic for High, while the rest of you are going for the favored Golden Guardians. Why is it that you guys are confident Golden Guardians walks with it?
This week was really pick the blue teams. That all teams
Blue
with
side?
blue color
just blue
on their
colors,
logos.
okay.
Blue logos win this week.
Yeah, I actually think game 1 is the closest,
Yeah.
and that was the one where I was debating possibly could go to Optic. I think Crown's been playing super well. Both junglers are very good, but I think Midos is still back in. That's one has a decent chance.
I have to believe the only reason High chose Clutch.
That Clutch-
is because, not because he thinks they're going to win, but because he invested in them, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason. Just ignore that one. That really says TSM.
That's lunacy, if
Yeah.
we're being honest.
The Optic versus Golden Guardians one is a lot closer, but I think for Golden Guardians, Froggen should stack up decently well to Crown in the laning phase, which then I think the rest of the map goes.
What do you
in
give
their
the
favor.
bottom lane to?
Bottom
Optic
lane's
GGs,
close.
right?
I actually think I might give it to Optic recently. They've been doing pretty good with Arrow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely have an eyeball on Ole. There have definitely been some questionable moves.
Just play Tom Kench.
Yeah, if you get
Tom Kench, right? Just
Golden Guardians bottom way better.
All right, gentlemen. Well, as we go to the casters,
Oh, boy.
it's what you've all been waiting for. Let's jump into what you've been waiting for, the IDK cover of Popstar.
So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. 다 할 수 없는 배vo. 나와 되길 원한 늘 확신해. We got it all in our hands now. So can you handle what we're all about? What's so tough? Let's get it, show you out. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we're gonna wear the crown. You can go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, so we get it, we go hard. We're so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. You ready for this? Let's go. See, 언제든지 내 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지. 펴펴 네가 뭘 알아? 견딜 수 없어 원해도 원하는 게 얼굴에 보여. I'm trouble and you running it. I'm so cold. When I move that way, you gon' be so blown. I'm the realest in the game. Said I'm on fire with the blade. You're about to hear my name, ringing in your head like whoa. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. We so tough. Let's get it, show you out. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we're gonna wear the crown. You can go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. We go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We're so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down.
I don't know what else to say, but whoa!
Get your Grammy nominations in early, boys.
Done Listen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Battle Arena. I'd say we'd cut it there, but we got some games to play today. And we're going to be jumping into game one in just a few minutes. We have Optic going against Golden Guardians. And I know we have to come down a little bit from that, but we will go back up in the game with intensity. And this one is, you know, they said Optic could really be taking this matchup. They've been feeling good in the mid lane with Crown. Froggen as well has been having a few games for himself. Kobe's wondering why he's getting the picks that he can do so well on. I think we're going to get a good matchup here at game one of the day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, this is a huge matchup with playoff implications.
Absolutely.
These guys are fighting for the final spots. FlyQuest, TSM, Cloud9, Liquid all lost. All of the remaining teams are fighting for these final two spots.